Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the COG Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day, wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to yet more Liverpool news, of course. And look, and we do have a jam-packed show. To be fair, of course, obviously the main headline, of course, you can see by the thumbnail and the title, is, of course, Jeremie Frimpong. We're going to talk more about the Frimpong news. And, of course, there has been plenty of Frimpong news today, of course, obviously from what it was yesterday. But we're not only just going to talk about Jeremie Frimpong. Of course, there is plenty more to talk about in terms of Ibou Konate as well. You know, his contract update that, again, I think will upset, I think, a lot of people. Really, which, you know, again, it might have to be the fact that Liverpool might have to sell him in the summer as well. And of course, we're going to talk about Dean Huijsen as well, of course, because his decision is meant to be coming up soon as well, whether or not he's going to go anywhere, or, you know, depending on where he's going to go this summer, of course. And we are going to kickstart the show talking about Dean Huijsen as well, anyway. And again, if you guys have seen anything in the comments, or, you know, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Of course, very intrigued to know all of your guys' thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below as well. But like I said, we are going to get on. We are going to talk about Dean Huijsen, obviously discuss obviously all the news surrounding him, and obviously kicking it the show off, and of course going into depth about it, of course, obviously from Florian Plintenberg. It says, but yeah, understand that Arsenal and Liverpool are currently in pole position for Dean Huijsen. A decision is expected soon. Real Madrid remain keen on him. A move to Bayern appears unlikely at this stage, as time is not on their side to sign Huijsen. Bayern would need to make some sales, which haven't happened yet, and that's why their focus is currently on Jonathan Tah, who is available as a free agent. Huijsen's 50 million release clause can be paid in 3 installments, as previously revealed. Now, I think the interesting point is the top bit. You know, again, obviously Arsenal and Liverpool are currently the favourites. Obviously, that does write off Chelsea's involvement as of things right now. But and the big but towards it, of course, is that other part where it does say, but Real Madrid remain keen on him. Now, the information that we have as of right now, as of, was it 8 minutes past 9 on Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday evening, I should say, of course, is the fact that Real Madrid have now stepped up their approach as well. There are rumors going around, you know, plenty of obviously, again, Spanish news outlets, of course, reporting that once again Real Madrid are interested in Dean Huijsen, which, of course, as Dean Huijsen's been very open on, that if Real Madrid come knocking, you know, that is a likely destination for him. And, you know, I think everybody reported it. You know, I think Fabrizio Romano reported on it. David Ornstein, I think, reported as well that it was most likely he was going to stay in the Premier League. But I think that was before it was confirmed, you know, Carlo Ancelotti was going to leave Real Madrid. And, you know, I don't think Real Madrid themselves really anticipated Ancelotti leaving maybe this year. I think maybe one more year, and then, you know, obviously what they're going to end up doing and getting Xabi Alonso in. But by all accounts, Xabi Alonso very much wants another centre half at Real Madrid, because, you know, again, most likely he's going to you know, adapt his 3-4-3 style to Real Madrid. So, you know, with that being said, are they going to turn around and go, oh, you know, no, we're not going to give you what you want? Of course they are. And if, by the looks of things, Dean Huijsen is on Real Madrid's list, which, again, I think rules out everyone. You know, like we said, and I think his end goal is to get a Real Madrid. And if he can do that already now, again, I think pretty much, you know, that writes off Liverpool, it writes off Arsenal, it writes off Chelsea as well. And I do think that is probably what's going to happen. You know, there are reports in Spain, you know, tonight that say that Real Madrid are open to discuss, you know, the release clause with Bournemouth, and, you know, there's other bits and pieces that are flying around as well from different applications as well. So again, I like, personally, I do think he will go to Real Madrid now, because Xabi Alonso is the Real Madrid manager for next season onwards as well. and look, it's a question mark then of who do Liverpool go and get. Who are the options out there that Liverpool will go and get now. And it does look like we are looking at left-footed centre halves. I think with Dean Huijsen, of course. With that being said, normally looking at it, of course, you look at Dean Huijsen. He is, both footed. He can play on, as a left-sided centre back. He can even play on the right side as well. So for Liverpool, that would have been perfect because again, you can adapt him, mainly to his preferred position to the left-hand side, when Virgil van Dijk is not there. But also, again, you could have had, him alongside, alongside Virgil van Dijk, on the right-hand side, and obviously build up from there, really. But I do think it is an interesting one, as well, because, even speaking about them as well, and one thing to kind of tie into the two stories, really, is, of course, this tweet from Fabrizio Romano in terms of this tweet, which, yeah, obviously we're going to talk about the Ibou stuff now, but of course it does go on to say that Real Madrid have Dean Huijsen, William Saliba and Ibou Konate on their shortlist for new centre-backs. Huijsen has a 50 million release clause and he's keen to join Real Madrid, waiting for the club to move, while Chelsea and Liverpool keep pushing Saliba dream target for present and future, but currently considered too expensive, which of course, Arsenal are not going to ask for anything less than 80 plus million for William Saliba, and of course Real Madrid are not going to do that. Real Madrid have this policy, don't they, of let's tap the player up for 2 years and see if they end up leaving on a free transfer. But of course, looking at that, I like again to reiterate again, for me, I think Dean Huijsen will go to Real Madrid now. I think if it was between all the Premier League clubs, I think Liverpool would be number one for him. Considering again, like we're going to talk about Ibou in a moment, but I do think now with Real Madrid coming and knocking at the door, for me, I would say he is gonna go to Real Madrid, unfortunately. And of course, then, like I said, the question marks are now for Liverpool is who else is on that list? Who's on the centre back list that we won't know, all the names on it, but again, you can kind of think of names, and obviously people straight away think of maybe like a Joel Hato at centre half. I more see Joel Hato as a fullback, really. I don't see him as a centre half option for Liverpool, unless of course Liverpool think of him as a centre back option, which he could easily be, because look, he can play centre half, he can play full back. But I think if we're going to get him, it would be because of the left back position, not necessarily a number two or number three centre half to play alongside Virgil van Dijk, really, with Joel Hato. But again, there are other centre halves out there. Mark AE as well is also out there that can play on the left and can play on the right as well. So there are plenty of options out there for Liverpool anyway. But I do think now I would put money on Dean Huijsen going to Real Madrid. Which, look, that for him has been the goal. Of course, Spanish international as well. So, of course, Real Madrid will want to get that done. Of course, obviously for Xavi Alonso as well, because plus the fact that that deal can be done in installments as well, I think is huge, really, for Real Madrid. And, any team that's going to go for Dean Huijsen, really, I think, it's such a huge deal for them, of course, anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Do you see Dean Huijsen going to Real Madrid, or do you think he may change his mind and go to a Premier League team for now? But I think he'll go to Real Madrid for sure anyway. But moving on then, and talking then about Ibou Konate now, like we said, with this tweet just now from Fabrizio Romano, again, Real Madrid absolutely despise them, have him on their list, alongside Dean Huijsen and William Saliba, of course. But this as well is not only what Fabrizio Romano has had to say about Ibou Konate, because, again, he's had his own update as of today. It does go on to read, Liverpool are in negotiations with Konate over a new deal, but there is still no full agreement on some critical points. He is on the list for Real Madrid, as we've just seen from Fabrizio's tweet. But it does go on to say as well the contract talks are not advancing between Liverpool and Konate, which is concerning. Of course it is. Look, Liverpool have a very tough ultimatum, really. What to do with Ibou Konate, because again, we can't be allowing another one of our starters to be leaving on a free transfer. It's as simple as that. Like, if Liverpool were to lose Ibou for nothing once again, and letting another one of our top players leave on a free, it's unacceptable, really. And Liverpool have to make that decision now. Liverpool have to set a deadline, really, for Ibou and his team, and go, look, if you do not re-sign on this date or before this date, then we are going to look to sell you on. Because even though that's a tough decision, and look, Ibou, for me, has the potential to go up to Virgil van Dijk's level, maybe, in another 5 years' time. But again, there's certain demands, and in terms of what Fabrizio Romano said as well, in terms of critical critical things in the contract that can't get agreed with right now. And with that, is it necessarily, is it wage, is it years on the contract? Now, supposedly, if you go back and look at Paul Joyce back earlier on this season, said that Liverpool were advancing in a contract for Joel Konza and Ibou Konate at the same time. That was around September, October time. We've not really heard anything since then about it. Now, with that being said, are we going to turn around and go, should we wait and hang on? For me, no. Like, again, I would say you have until the start of pre-season to re-sign, and then look, we look to sell you on. And I think with us doing that, of course, then how much would Liverpool demand for Ibou Konate? I think you could, on a 1-year contract, you could get 40 million for him. I do think you could get that. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people would also turn around and go, oh, they would wait and see, maybe he might resign. And of course, the other factor is that, of course, it looks like the Konate was waiting to see Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah's contract, and how much they've earned. Looking at them, both £400,000 per week. The rumor was Ibou wants around £200,000 per week. As this comment says, whatever Konate wants, give it. So what if it's 200k a week? And the only argument I have against it personally is, well, thank you for commenting, but I think that the only thing I have against it really is just, there's going to be a time in a minute. You're looking at Liverpool's contract situation where Liverpool now are going to have, you're going to have Maka wanting a new deal soon. Ryan Gravenberch is saying, Dom Szoboszlai. They're going to be plenty of people in the club where, again, if you're offering out £200,000+ per week, all right, you keep the best player. But again, look at Manchester United. Look how much they have fallen because of that. And again, is Ibou worth £200,000 per week? Personally, I would say yes. I think Ibou, like I said, can get to the level of Virgil van Dijk, in terms of the next over the next 5 years, and obviously, take that place when Virgil does unfortunately leave Liverpool. But it's that sense of as well where, again, what does Ibou want? There's been plenty of rumours going around that PSG is a potential destination for him. Obviously, Real Madrid's name is being brought into it again. And I swear to God, if he goes to Real Madrid, I'm going to be absolutely fuming, really, because look, I love Ibou. I love his character. I love the player. But it's that sense, isn't it? And I said it on Twitter earlier, if he doesn't sign within the summer, then look, bye-bye, because we cannot let another Liverpool player leave on a free transfer. It's as simple as that, really. But big up Scousers for saying 100%. We need to say sign or we sell. Absolutely agree. And I'm fully in that mentality as well of, if you don't sign by a certain date in the summer or a certain date in pre-season, you're gone, really, because again, we want to retain the Premier League and also try and win, something else that next season. We want to win a European Cup. We want to do other things as well next season. And for me, you're either a part of that or you're not. And look, it's not another situation where, oh, we're going to wait 12 months and you might stay and you might not stay. You might gaslight us. No, I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. Anyway, and look, I hope that doesn't happen anyway. But if not, moving forward, we might have to put a Real Madrid clause into our contract. Yeah, true. You can't. Liverpool can't negotiate with Real Madrid at all. In many ways, I hate Real Madrid. I genuinely do. As well, but their top defenders need to be paid big salaries. FSG cannot expect to get cheap players on nothing wages. True, but I think, and I've seen this argument today as well, with the Konate stuff, where people straight away have gone towards FSG and like, oh, FSG should have no ambition. They've just re-signed Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah to £400,000 per week deals. Like, and that's without any bonuses or anything that we know about. Like, look, if it makes sense, if it makes a business sense, Liverpool will do it. FSG will do it. That it's clear that will happen. But if it doesn't make sense, then Liverpool won't go with it. And again, we might disagree with it, at some points, but logically, it makes sense. And I do think giving Ibou a contract for £200,000 per week, it does make sense. I would agree with it. I think, again, there are, you look at the centre halves around that number. Again, Ibou should be in that conversation. But it's also as well where there might be other things that we don't know about that, again, discussed that, again, the club don't agree with, or, Ibou thinks he's entitled to something. We don't end up agreeing to that, really. I think that's the difference, really, between the two. In my opinion, anyway. I think that is truly the difference between the two. But look, we'll have to wait and see. In terms of Ibou, I do think, though, am I confident Ibou's going to re-sign? To be honest with you, after the Trent stuff, not anymore. Like, I just wait and see, really. But again, I hope he does re-sign, because I think Ibou, again, staying in and obviously being around Virgil van Dijk more will obviously make him better as well. But I think overall, again, Ibou has the capabilities of overtaking, Virgil's position, really, as it is right now. And, again, becoming that leader at the back, hopefully as well. But of course, that's just a hopeful dream at the moment, of course, anyway. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts down below, of course, on Ibou Konate and other bits and pieces, of course, anyway. But we will move on, and we will talk then about the main event. Let's talk then about Jeremie Frimpong, which, of course, a lot of people have been discussing Jeremie Frimpong as of today, of course, which, rightfully so, really. And look, a lot of people have come out with information regarding Jeremie Frimpong. Of course, one of those people being, of course, Fabrizio Romano. Of course, we've also got Lewis Steele article piece to go through as well for you guys. But again, obviously, the main headline today and this morning was from Fabrizio Romano. If I can quickly find it and get it for you guys, then I will absolutely do that for you. There we go. So, as it does go on to say, as you guys can hopefully see on screen right now, there we go. So Liverpool are advancing talks to sign Jeremie Frimpong after contacts reported last week. Understand Liverpool approached Bayer Leverkusen to discuss the €35 million release clause structure. Talks also underway on a player side, with Frimpong keen on joining Liverpool, which again is great news. Let's be honest, it is fantastic news as well. I think mainly, and looking at it, I would say with Jeremie Frimpong, look, obviously we know terms with him isn't going to be a problem, but of course, obviously Liverpool are trying to understand how the deal works at the moment, with Bayer Leverkusen, and of course, trying to understand how, of course, everything is working in that way. Anyway, but not only adding to what Fabrizio Romano said, obviously Florian Plinterberg again today adding that concrete talks between Liverpool and Jeremie Frimpong have taken place as reported yesterday. These are ongoing as Liverpool are still pushing. Arne Slot is a big fan. However, there is still no full verbal agreement, and Liverpool have not yet made contact with Bayer Leverkusen. Other Premier League clubs are also interested in Frimpong, with Liverpool currently in a very good position. Frimpong wants to leave Leverkusen with suitable offer and has informed the club as well. And it also, so we've had other news as well come out recently that Frimpong has told Leverkusen he wants to leave the football club as well, which of course, is good news for Liverpool, really. But I think that is the main thing as well, that there currently has been no. There we go. I'm back. I refreshed the page by mistake. Actually, everyone left. No, don't come back. But no, apologies for that. No, I refreshed the page by mistake. Which, yeah, that's a idiot move from me anyway. But no, look, obviously talking about Jeremie Frimpong, of course, the best thing is about the fact that, again, Liverpool, personal terms, it look like it's not going to be a problem, but obviously there's no contact yet between Liverpool and Leverkusen. But it's also said as well that obviously Kicker as well, in obviously I think the number one publication in Germany, have also turned around and said the Liverpool are closing in to sign the Dutch international Jeremie Frimpong from Leverkusen. Talks are at a very advanced stage. Only minor details remain. Club are ready to trigger the release clause. 5-year deal until 2030 is on the table, which is good news. It's absolutely great news, really, as well. So again, we're obviously getting more and more information as the time, as the day has gone on, really. But it's also gone on to say as well, because Patrick Berger as well has also come out and said that Liverpool are in pole position to sign Jeremie Frimpong, as Bayer Leverkusen has informed the Dutchman that he wants to leave. The Dutchman's informed Bayer Leverkusen he wants to leave and join England. Of course, obviously join a team in England as well. For me, I do think we will see some news towards the end of the week. I would think personally, but look, I think that the best thing is, and the encouraging thing is, look, we're getting all this information now. I do think we will hear a lot more, maybe even tomorrow or the next day as well, because it looks like this is advancing very, very quickly with Liverpool, absolutely as well. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below as well. But big up Martin as well, saying Ibou will sign. Don't worry. Hopefully he will do. Anyway, but Saeed as well also saying Konate's contract. Hope you sign a new contract. Stay at Liverpool. Good luck for that as well. Thank you, mate. Big up Bry as well. Hope you're doing well. Big up Ozan as well, saying big up Conor Ladd. Slot having a great time in AP there. It appears no training until Saturday. Well, fortunately, Liverpool don't play till Monday, which is good news, really. But VVD was Southampton's player of the season. I think at 25 at Ibou. Is Ibou at that level at 25? Probably. Yeah, I would agree. I think so. I think when you look at the centre back market, it's a rare market to get really good players, unless you're paying obviously ridiculous amount of money. And I think we got Ibou for, what was it, 34 million. Again, Liverpool could easily make a profit now with 1 year left on his contract. Really, but I also think, yeah, we might have to see anyway. But big up Phil as well, saying I almost left as I did think you finished mid-sentence. No, so my idiotic brain refreshed meant to refresh the Twitter page. Instead of me doing that, I refreshed the stream page, which, yeah, obviously takes you out the studio. Because I was like, why does it say enter studio? I was like, I've refreshed the page, which is my bad, to be fair, as well. But no, I am here anyway. But can't wait for Frimpong to come. Exciting to develop him. To put him up and down at that wing. Yeah, absolutely. I think it is interesting. Maybe we'll have to do a breakdown on it, because I've seen obviously people talk about Frimpong's position and how he's going to adapt to the Liverpool style of things, and looking at it, I think he offers intensity. Is that the right words? Looking at his numbers and looking at his attacking threat and his positioning, it is around the Trent position, or more more or less it's around the Mo Salah position. Now, I think against low block teams, I think Frimpong will add a lot more elements to Liverpool's team. But I also look at it and go, of course, the big question mark is defensively. How are Liverpool how is Frimpong gonna cope in the Premier League? And that's the interesting one for me, where I look at it and go, how is he going to adapt to the Premier League, and more playing as a right back than a wing back, really. I'm intrigued to see how Arne Slot adapts him really to that. But this will be a big summer for Liverpool, I'm sure of that, as well as Martins will. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say 5 signings. I think it'd be around that 5 or 6 for sure. Let's hope the Trent abuse is over. Point has been made. Yeah, like I said it yesterday, didn't I? I think I agreed with the booing when he came on, because I think that's fair enough to let him know, and I think plenty of people are feeling hurt by his decision to leave Liverpool. I thought that was fine. Like I said a couple of days ago, though, like consistently booing him throughout that game, I was kind of against, because it's like, you're not only, you're not just doing it to him, you're doing it to the rest of the team. I think that kind of derailed, the atmosphere. I think the feeling around Anfield as well. That was the main disappointment, really, of it. I do look at it and go, right, it was fine to boo him, him coming on, but I think after that it was like, move on, really, and support the team again, really. And I think obviously against Brighton, of course, we won't see much of that. But I think obviously the last day of the season, I don't want to be thinking about anything else but lifting the league title. And that's how I think everyone should be feeling, really. It's just thinking about lifting the Premier League trophy, not thinking about Trent, not thinking about the situation, and celebrating the day, really. The Liverpool lift number 20 as well. That's my opinion, anyway, on it. But we will get on then to Lewis Steele's article piece, anyway, on, of course, the Frimpong situation. Now, it does go on to say, there you go, I can get it for you guys. There we go. So, as it does go on to say, right there, if I quickly scroll down, so you don't see the attachment part, as it does go on to say on Mail Online, that Liverpool close in on 29.5 million. Jeremie Frimpong with wingback very keen to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, and deal could now progress quickly. Liverpool will be keen to improve their title-winning squad in the upcoming window. Alexander-Arnold announced that he'd be leaving his boyhood club this month, obviously listed on the Mail Online. And obviously the article piece does go on to say the Bayer Leverkusen wing-back Jeremie Frimpong would be very keen on a move to Liverpool should the Premier League champions decide to step up their drive to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold this summer. The 24-year-old has a release clause of 35 million euros, 29.5 million in his contract. The German club is highly expected to be on the move. Frimpong is on Liverpool's shortlist, as they like his profile should they decide to recruit in that position this summer. Other names have also been considered, but given the release clause, it could be one of the moves quite quickly if the Reds decide to push forward. Reports in Germany have said that it's close to a done deal, but Mail Sport understands that is not the case just yet, and suggests that Frimpong has held talks with Liverpool on Monday afternoon, have also been denied by sources close to the player, but the former Manchester City academy player, who also played for Celtic, is open to a move to the Premier League this summer. The Reds need a new right back, obviously replacing Trent Alexander-Arnold, as it does go on to say there, and it does also say that Jeremie Frimpong wants to move to Liverpool, and he features high on the short list as well. And look, I do think he will get done. I do think he will get done. I think there has been, like we said about the Romano post as well, I do think that was a bit premature about how, everything's advancing and everything's getting done. I would turn around and say, though, that I wouldn't be surprised if we heard by the end of the week if we have concrete movement on it. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear anything now for a little bit either, because again, obviously Bayer Leverkusen, obviously they'll have their season to finish. Obviously we have our season to finish as well over the next 2 weeks. But of course, after that, then you'll start to hear the news of obviously more targets for Liverpool emerging as well. And look, if we do sign Jeremie Frimpong, it is probably a really good replacement for Trent, and kind of it is a different profile in some sense, but it's also not, because again, Frimpong is a very attack-minded player, can add, different elements to Liverpool's team next season in terms of build-up and in terms of, again, counter everything, really. But of course, it's going to take time for him to adapt. I do think, it's not going to be just a straight walk into the door and you're the right back for next season. I do think when we look at it, probably Conor Bradley does start the season next year for Liverpool, and then who knows, Jeremie Frimpong will hopefully then adapt to the league and become Liverpool's new right back. But I think it will be over time. I do think we will definitely over the next week, I do think we will find out more on this as well, and depending on if Liverpool are going to go in and obviously activate the release clause as well. Anyway, but. Again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. But Trent will be missed. Liverpool, good luck next club, Real Madrid. I hope you will succeed at. Well, I don't really want to congratulate him going to Real Madrid. I'm not going to lie, really. But like, I don't really want to congratulate him leaving the football club. Let's be honest, because again, we have our opinions on him here anyway. But look. At the end of the day, Liverpool could become better from letting Trent go and signing Jeremie Frimpong. Why not? Anyway, but if anybody's watching the Sunderland game as well, I think Coventry's just scored as well. So again, really good for them. Anyway, but of course, any other news, we'll bring it to you guys anyway. But I think we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. Of course, look, any more developments on the Frimpong news, anything developing at all elsewhere, in terms of Liverpool, we'll be live for it, of course. Obviously, looking away from Liverpool, it looks to be that City, Man City are going to be back in control next year, because looks like they're going to sign Reinders. Reinders they're going to end up signing. They're going to be signing Florian Wirtz by the looks of it as well to replace Kevin De Bruyne. That's huge, really, as well. So look, Liverpool have to reinforce really, really good next season as well. So again, it's going to be tough, really. But Brighton preview will be on Friday or Saturday, either one, because again, we play Monday. So there's nothing really to talk about, because again, even though I think Slot's press conference is going to be on Friday, supposedly the team does not come back until Friday afternoon. So we pretty much train Saturday, Sunday. That's it. Pretty much. They're not going to be training much at all this week anyway. So, who knows? But yeah, no, Friday or Saturday will be the preview, and of course, look, it will be very much interesting as well, because look, Arne Slot's going to be doing the press conference and no player's going to be there at all, which would be kind of funny. No talks about the beach club with Salah and Szoboszlai. No, absolutely not. Anyway, but look, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your evenings anyway. Let me know your guys' thoughts if you're watching on the repeat as well on anything we've mentioned in tonight's show, of course. And yeah, any other news on Frimpong, will be live for it anyway. But until next time, guys, that is going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the COP Council. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.